Hi, this is Tom Maxon, LMT. You can find me on Facebook, like me there, or connect on LinkedIn. Or you can find me at the Massage Envy in Lutz, where I'm a therapist 5 days a week. I want to talk today a little bit about my case study that I've been doing for a little bit over a year now. Actually, I realized the other day. I started working with Mrs. R, and I've blogged about her pretty lengthy. I'll put some links down in the comment section so you can catch up on that. But I started when I got Eric Dalton's program, Myoskeletal Alignment, and I've been trying to practice Eric Dalton's techniques with her, and it just never has worked very well because of her situation. Not that I dislike the techniques. I think it's brilliant work, and I have had a lot of good results on a lot of other clients. But in Mrs. R's case, there's still so much built up fascia and tissue that's just not letting me into those deep level, fifth layer deep intravertebral musculature that Eric Dalton's talking about. So with her, I'm still just pretty much putting out fires and moving fascia around, trying to undo her 20, 30 hours of driving a week and undo her very strenuous law school that she's just finished another term, and she's gone back for summer term in like 3 weeks is her whole break from law school. So she's got stress on all sides, and she also works, I think, somewhere legal, interning with a judge or something, so she's just always on the go. So I feel kind of bad that I'm not helping more, but she continues to reinforce with me that I'm doing good, that she's getting results. She's just being really hard on herself, on her body. So I think it's important to keep that, perspective in mind, but I still feel a little bit like I should be doing more, should be doing something better to help, but our schedules haven't been meeting as much as they could be. I think it's been almost a month since I saw her. I just saw her today, and through various trips and interruptions, we've both kind of flaked out on each other several times. But overall, on average, it's been about weekly for a year that I've been able to work on her, which has been a huge learning experience for me. Again, trying to apply the myoskeletal techniques, and every other class that comes along, I have been able to practice on her. For example, this week I took a deep tissue class from Body Worker Seminars. Keith and Nicole Reed were the teachers there. Several of their techniques were very effective with Mrs. R. Specifically, they talked a lot about saving your thumbs by using like the flat part of your knuckles. They jokingly call it the Chuck Norris Kung Fu grip. And so you get like a real good solid muscle or skeletal stacking pressure that saves your own hands and wrists and thumbs, and you can get a lot of good pressure in a smaller area than if you're using your forearms and elbows. And that worked really well with Mrs. R. So it's interesting to meld that into the myoskeletal, because I'm seeing the spine a lot differently. The erectors, how they're imbalanced. A lot of times it'll be like upper right thoracic adhesion and blockage, and then lower left. It'll zigzag across the spine. And I'm seeing that and feeling that a lot more, even visually. I can like hone in on it pretty fast with clients. So I'm still definitely using all of it, trying to assimilate it into my brain. I also snuck in a couple of craniosacral techniques from my bodyworker seminars class this week. Not super effective in her case, and I had specifically asked the instructor about clients who are taking lots of pain medications, and he had voiced a concern about detox symptoms when using craniosacral therapy in addition to a heavily medicated client. So I definitely don't want to stir up any detox going on with Mrs. R for a lot of reasons. She's on a lot of meds, and again, that's why the myoskeletal isn't super appropriate for her, because I don't want to dig that deep into her spine while she is numbed to the pain. And then my myofascial work, I think, is a lot less invasive. And what did I do? The deep tissue class this week, one of the techniques, we did a myofascial drag from like the hip bone going upward from the low back through the thoracic, dragging with one hand, and the other hand was like counterbalancing on the ankle. So you got like kind of a whole drag all the way through one side of the body. Could affect the, all the way ankle up through the IT band, into the hip, into the low back, stretching out everything, which I found really effective with Mrs. R because of her chronic low back tension and all the driving she does. Really, I felt that would be great for her right side, which I felt like I released a whole lot of stuff in a very short time. And I could see a lot of blood flow in her back. I mean, she's a fairly pale-skinned person, and, I can usually see the effects of the, blood flow and the flushing, but in this case, it was very fast and felt like I was, sensing exactly where I needed to go, which, with myofascial, you let the fascia do what it needs to do. You're just nudging it in the direction it's going to heal itself in, and you're just helping that mechanism go. So it felt very effective and not hard work for me at all, but I definitely want to experiment more. I did a similar technique a long time ago from Walt Fritz, had a two-handed myofascial drag upward up the low back while the clients were on the table, sitting upright on the table and putting their arms out in between their own legs. And that made sense and it worked on her, but I like this one better because of the driving situation and being able to spread the whole leg out and isolate one side of the lumbar and thoracic areas, and also felt like I was able to address the lats more than just the QLs. And either way, both techniques were very effective at releasing the thoracolumbar fascia, and I'll probably work with both ideas again on her and other folks. So it's fun for me this week to try to integrate all of this different theories and ideas and techniques into one person, which it hit me today that it's been about a year since I've been working on Mrs. R. And, it's been amazing for me to have someone so trusting to let me try different things to see what works the best. You don't always get that opportunity, even with regular clients in the clinic. I feel hesitant sometimes to just start throwing new stuff on them, knowing that they're paying me for this and I might not be as comfortable in my own understanding of the procedure, how it's going to work, if it's going to work for them. So I have a little more leeway, I feel, when I'm not getting paid for my case study person. So I don't want to sound reckless at all with her because I'm super conservative, but it's been an interesting journey with her. And knowing the depth of her issues, everything is going to be helpful in some way. So that's also a good thing. A lot of my folks in the clinic won't necessarily be, in a state where they need to have deeper, intensive work, and they don't want to, sit through me pounding on something to make it happen. So anyhow, I just wanted to get those notes down while they were fresh in my head about Mrs. R. Again, you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Keep the conversation going. Any thoughts, concerns, let me know. I'm Tom Maxon, LMT. Thank you for listening.